This activity is designed by Sir Harry. It's mainly for his students to experience the process of hazard identification. My name is Lau Umoy. I am a third-year psychology student from Faculty Cognitive Sciences and Human Development in Universiti Malaysia Sarawak. My matrix number is 61194. I am currently taking the course KMS3063 Occupational Safety and Health with my instructor, Sir Halim Hashim. I was assigned as a hygiene technician, identifying the chemical-related hazards at the concrete workshop in Department of Civil Engineering in Faculty of Engineering UNIMAS. The workshop was on 24 February 2020 from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. We need to know what is hazard before identifying it. Hazard is a condition with the potential of causing injury to personnel, damage to equipment or structure, loss of material, or lessening of the ability to perform a prescribed function. Simply to say that the hazard is a potential condition to be a real accident. The significant hazard about the source that I found, acetone, is a fire hazard. It will be easily ignited by heat, sparks, or flames. Acetone is a flammable and skin irritation chemical, which you can see on the left side of the screen now. Before I begin to assess the risk of acetone, we need to know who are the group of people exposed to hazards. In my task, mainly UNIMAS students and lecturers are exposed, but there may be others, such as visitors of the concrete workshop, maintenance staff, and also criminals. So, another important question is, how can these people be exposed to the acetone or interact with it? Aha! This requires indeed knowledge of the hazard involved, acetone, to explain how the hazard may harm. We can identify the hazardous chemical in different ways, including the type of hazard it presents, its physical stage, and health effects. Acetone presents two types of hazard, which are fire hazard and skin irritation. But in this video, I will discuss more on fire hazard. Acetone is a highly flammable, colorless liquid with a sweet, mint-like odor. It is water-soluble. The chemical properties of acetone, CH3COCH3, is a colorless, volatile, flammable liquid. It boils at 56 degrees Celsius. The potential exposure of people with acetone is when it is used as a solvent in nail polish removal or paint, used in the production of lubricating oils, and as an intermediate in the manufacture of chloroform. The effects of the acetone has on our body can be acute during inhalation and ingestion process. Inhalation can cause paper irritating to eyes and mucous membrane, while injections can cause a low order of toxicity but very irritating to mucous membrane. The chronic effect is skin rash or inflammation. Congrats! We already identified our hazard, that is fire hazard caused by acetone. Next will be the actions to be taken to reduce the hazard in our workshop. First will be our engineering control put in workshop as a measure of preventive nature. Ensure adequate ventilation, especially in confined areas. When working with any hazardous chemicals, keep the area well ventilated to prevent harmful vapors or dust from accumulating in the air. This is very important, especially for the flammable chemicals. Since vapors of flammable chemicals is easier to form explosive mixture with air. So, the workshop in Department of Civil Engineering has many ventilation systems. The authorities concern it very well. Another engineering control that I would like to suggest is a metal container involving the transfer of acetone is grounded or bonded. Use only non-sparking tools and equipment, especially when opening and closing of container of acetone. This is very effective to handle with the flammable chemicals such as acetone. As a preventive measure, we can also use administrative control, which is the level provided on the body of the chemical. Global harmonization. This is a way to communicate the hazard of chemical by using the same language and symbols regardless of what country your workplace is located in. Label as they come from the manufacturer might look like this. They all have the same 5 basic pieces of information. The first thing to look for on a label is a signal word. It is used to alert us to the potential hazard and to indicate the relative severity level of the hazard. For example, danger shown on chemical acetone refers to a more severe hazard. The second thing that we need to look for is the hazard statement. This is a phrase that describes the nature of the product hazard, including when appropriate the degree of hazard. The hazard statement shown by acetone chemical in here is highly flammable liquid and peppers. It causes serious eye irritation, may cause drowsiness or dizziness, and repeated exposure may cause skin dryness or cracking. Thirdly, precautions or symbol of hazards. This gives a description of the recommended measure to minimize or prevent the harmful effect to improper handling or storage. On the other hand, symbol or pictogram that represents various chemical hazards. So, this symbol means flammable, and this symbol means skin irritation. Fourthly, is the identifications of the substances and of the company undertaking. We can check it by using Chemical Extracts Service, CAS. Use this number when looking up information about chemicals on a computer or when reordering the chemical. In here, the CAS number of acetone is 67-64-1, and the last information is about that each label will include the name and contact information for the supplier, shipping name, shipping number, and part number. The example is about the details of the supplier of chemical acetone like this. I still remember that when I went to the workshop that day, I have observed that there are lots of safety information stick on the wall of the workshop. This is also another way of administrative control. So, example here is information about safety operation procedures, signboard to show cautions, and some information about safety instructions. I would like to suggest that the lab authority should put Material Safety Data Sheet (MSDS) in this workshop. MSDS contains summary of chemicals hazards, as well as proper handling, use, and storage methods. MSDS also lists the important information for protecting us, such as permissible exposure limits, personal protective equipment, firefighting techniques, and EP emergency procedures. The engineering control for integrative purpose is using a fire extinguishers. Be careful to choose the suitable extinguishers media, which is quick-acting ABC powder extinguisher. They are designed to extinguish class A, B, C fires. Quick-acting BC powder extinguishers designed to extinguish class B and C fires. There are some unsuitable extinguishing media like water, due to the risk of abundant expansion. Another engineering control for immediate purpose is ice watch and shower watch. Ice watch can be intermediate measures in case of ice contact. Shower watch is used in case of large exposure of skin contaminated with chemicals. Before this, I feel it is very difficult to find administrative control for mitigative measures. My opinion is that fire escape loop can become one-way or administrative control for mitigative measure. It cannot stop the fire accident from happening, but it can minimize the injuries if all the victims know the way to exiting during fire accident. I think we can do lots of reading to prove it. Personal protection equipment must weigh. To reduce the risk of exposure to hazardous chemicals, for our eyes protections, we can use goggles. For the hand protections, we can use protective gloves. Ensure that gloves are suitable for the task. Make sure that your glove can fit properly. When we are in the workplace, we need to wear rubber boots, rubber overshoes, or synthetic rubber and acid-resistant work shoes to be safe. When workers are facing concentrations above the exposure limits, they must use appropriate certified respirators. To protect the wearer, respiratory protective equipment must be the correct fit and be used and maintained properly. Besides all personal protective equipment, we need to know the way of handling chemicals correctly. Before we use any chemicals, make sure we know what it is. Do not use any chemicals from an unidentified container. One tip is arranging chemicals according to their similarity types. This can prevent us from misperceiving and misusing. Secondly, labeling is important. Some simple labeling such as labeling with name of owner, date of start using, and when the chemical should be placed. When transferring chemicals, use the proper container for each materials. Remember that the container you are transferring the material to must also be properly labeled. Make sure that the container is leak-proof and sturdy. Stuff container carefully so they won't fall. Remember, materials also requires special precautions. Here are some effective methods of handling flammable chemicals such as acetone. Firstly, remember to keep ignition sources away from the materials. Secondly, use static bonding and grounding procedures when transferring flammables. Remember to keep flammables away from hot work or spark. Observe non-smoking area regulations in an area when flammables are used or stored. Oxidizing and flammables are a dangerous combination. Store them away from each other to prevent violent reactions in case of fire. Use National Fire Protection Association NFPA approved fireproof cabinets to store flammable materials away from the work area. Many accidents occur when chemicals are being removed to and from storage areas. So, use common sense and the methods your facility has outlined when moving the chemicals. First aid measures are required for some unexpected accidents. For example, injections or inhalations. Clean mouth with water and drink afterward plenty of water if injections occurs. In case of inhalation, move to fresh air. If not breathing, give artificial respiration. Get medical attention if symptoms occur.